Welcome to episode 7 of Out of Bounds, a podcast giving social commentary on different topics. I'm your host, Terry, and today I'm gonna have to say I gotta defend Liam Neeson. Now, this is two separate, or two things I think that are playing here, two issues that I'll kind of break down separately. And number one is a very, very common issue in debate, discourse, the way we talk right now, communication in general, is people confusing two different issues and putting them together and not staying focused on what's actually being discussed, but then adding in their own context and filling in gaps and bringing in different things that don't have to do with it. And I say that to start off with this whole racism thing, to look at the words that Liam Neeson said without context is irresponsible, number one. But then number two, that would definitely lead you to a completely different conclusion. If Liam Neeson just came out and said, hey, I walk around thinking about killing black people. Okay, that's wow. That's a lot to take in. That's crazy. But the fact is, he was discussing within the context of the short time frame immediately following a traumatic event for someone that was close to him. So to remove that context and just focus on, oh wow, that was racist, is I think not putting the whole picture together. Because again, I'm not I don't know what Liam Neeson thinks. I don't know his past, any of that. But I'm just talking about this specific incident and what he said in the interview. This is not him being racist. This was this man having a truthful moment about what he was thinking. And so the fact that people, as soon as they heard race, they wanted to now turn this into, okay, you're racist, is just silly to me, because my rebuttal to that would be, what would be the difference if this was an actress or the friend himself and said, for a week after that, every man I saw I wanted to kill, or I was hoping some man tried something so I could kill him. What's the difference in them saying that? Or any other identifier that you want to use. Every short person I saw, every tall person I saw, every person with red hair, every person that's an Aries, every person that is from Michigan after what they did to me. We've all had those moments where you're kind of jaded, kind of burnt, and you feel angry, especially you don't actually lash out, but you have those thoughts of, anyone within that context upsets me right now. Now, of course, that's not rational, and you'll work through it. But for the moment, you're just angry. And you're like, anybody that reminds me of that person is the enemy right now. We've all had that. So then why is it different that when the identifier is race, that all of a sudden now it's a race issue? Because if the person had been something else, you're assuming that Liam Neeson would have been like, oh, well, I don't really care that much. If she said the person was Irish, the person was Scottish, he'd just be like, okay, I don't care. That's you assuming and adding context to it. And so if we could understand that being upset about somebody that did something to us can lead to feeling that way about other people, imagine how that is in the context of some traumatic as rape, and something that didn't even happen to him but happened to his friend, where sometimes people feel even more guilty, like they should have been there to defend him. And so that's that anger, that's that rational raw emotion that we all feel. But since not even him, but since she told him that the person was black and that's what he happened to be, now it becomes an issue of him being racist. And that is so far removed from the actual context of what he was saying. Again, within the idea of he's discussing a person that committed a traumatic crime against one of his friends, allegedly. So you got to take that into consideration. To just sit here and blanket turn it into, oh no, he's just racist, is silly. Now, even with the follow-up where he's talking about he's been power walking, meditating, all that, it was a clear reference to him trying to work through his issues of angers and feelings that he towards black men or black people, whatever, after that incident. This wasn't him saying, okay, I'm racist, but since I've been power walking, I'm not racist anymore. That's not what he's saying. And so people twisting that, and all the jokes and stuff on Twitter, whatever, people talking about power walking cure racism. That's not what he was saying. He started off with, I'm not racist. He didn't say I'm not racist because I was power walking. He's saying that his comments weren't about being racist or racial. It was, the descriptor happened to be race, but it was more so about his reaction to that situation. And that he was saying, I'm not racist, and that wasn't what my comments were, but I've been working through the issues I've had since then, regarding his anger towards the situation, not towards black people in general, as if he's always had an issue with black people. And again, maybe Liam Neeson does. I don't know. But again, we're talking about in this specific situation. So to me, that's the number one issue. And that's the issue a lot of times whenever we discuss these things, this idea that people start adding in other contexts and forms and leaving things out or making it about something that is not, just completely derails the conversation. So issue number 2, the larger issue of what happened with Liam Neeson, not even the specifics. And I'll go back to someone I referenced before, comedian Michael Shea and his stand-up Michael Shea Matters. And wise words, again, I believe in comedy. I believe in a lot of wise words out of that. When Michael Shea was talking about his transgender friend and was talking about calling him a tranny, and the friend said that, don't call me that, everything, whatever. And Michael Shea, who changed it up because he wanted to respect his friend, but he said, if he's not able to admit something honest, if he's not able to say something true about how he feels, then how is he ever going to work past that? And I think that's a very poignant statement, especially when we look at this. And I figured it would go negative. It took a little longer to go negative than I thought, because I saw the article a while ago, but my first thought was, wow, like, good for him for admitting that. And that is so lost on everybody right now. To have the ability to be honest about what you're feeling is just an absolute no-go anymore in today's society. In the fake outrage society, in the extreme 0 to 100 society, where everything has to be politically correct, and to have any negative thoughts or actions about you makes you a horrible, demonized person. And it's ridiculous because we're not perfect. None of us are. And the vast majority of us have had very violent thoughts, very weird, awkward thoughts, very unsanitary thoughts. And if you're not able to be honest with yourself, first of all, which most people aren't, to be honest with, like, okay, let's dig into that. Why did I think that? Why do I have these feelings? And work through it, then you're never going to get better. And then the next step, if we're not, and I'm not saying every crazy, sick, depraved thought you have, you got to tell everybody, but some genuine thought-provoking moments like this one, if we're not able to be honest about those things, then how is he supposed to get better? So I see a lot of people just like, well, don't say that. Don't say it. Keep that to yourself. Don't say it out loud. That's the mentality that got us to where we are now, with a lot of people not knowing how to cope, not knowing how to handle mental health, not knowing how to evolve as people, because we was taught to just keep it in and not talk about it or not think about these things and work through it. but also you're basically abetting him. So if you say, wow, he's racist for that, but then you also say, just don't say it and it's okay, you want him to just continue to harbor racist thoughts. That's silly. When Liam Neeson himself said, well, I'm going to bring it out to the public instead, and I had to think about that. I had to reflect on that and what that meant to me, and I felt bad about it, and I had to work through those things. And maybe you don't know how to work through those perfectly, but getting it out there allows discussion. It should allow discussion. It doesn't anymore. It only allows outrage, but it should allow discussion, whether it's coming from a place of ignorance, complete ignorance, or a place of how you truly feel. Then to follow that up with discussions about how to improve that, why you might feel that way, how that affects other people. That is learning. That's discourse. But we lost that in society today. There is no more discourse. It's just outrage. And so if I have to be honest and say, and again, we're talking about a specific situation involving rape. If you can't be honest to say a black person raped my friend and then I felt some type of way about black people after that, if you can't say that, then how are we ever going to have the real conversations, the real thoughts about those everyday things that we think, those everyday occurrences that might be a little racist, a little sexist, a little bigoted, a little uninclusive? If we can't even be truthful in this moment, how are we supposed to be truthful with those everyday things? And if we can't be truthful, how do we ever get past it? Everybody's so focused on being PC. Everybody wants to change the topics. They want to change the language. They want to change all the structures. Nobody wants to change themselves. Nobody wants to talk about what we can do as individuals to be more resilient, to be more open, but also how to grow from the things that we're dealing with. And this Liam Neeson case is just another example of that. So when Michael Shea says that if I can't be honest about how I feel, if I have to push that in, if I have to keep that a secret, then how am I ever supposed to grow? And I believe that, and I believe that in this case too as well. Again, I'm not defending anything Liam Neeson goes on to say. I'm not defending anything he might have done before. What I'm talking about in this specific situation and what the bigger context is, I'm gonna defend that because I don't think it's wrong for us to have real dialogue anymore. Even though the rest of the society, especially online, wants to act that way, I don't think we benefit or grow from that. So he said harsh words. He talking about killing people. That's rough. That's hard stuff. But so what? It's not the end of the world. Like, we just act like, oh, you're a monster. People have had those thoughts. I seen people driving in cars with road rage say a lot worse things. So again, everybody wants to vilify somebody to make themselves look like the better person. None of us are better than that. We might not have the same situation that Liam Neeson had, but we all have our situations. And telling people that they should just keep that quiet, or telling people that if you ever had that thought, you're just a horrible person, I don't think is the right way to go about it. So anyway, those are my thoughts about the situation. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and until next episode.